Hi, my name is Battalion, also known as Aerox. I played a sniper role for Fierce Esport, Battalion 1944, and this is episode number 1 of Ryzen To the Top, powered by AMD. I first got into gaming like I think a lot of people did through my family. My father brought I think it was an Atari console home quite early on when we were still young, and that was basically where it started. We played a lot of, I think it was Pong back in the day, and all those kinds of games. Got a Super Nintendo, got a Nintendo 64. Yeah, growing up, gaming was a real big part of who I was as a person, and it wasn't until I think I was 12, between 11 and 12, that a friend of my brother's brought a CD to our home, and that CD happened to contain a version of Counter-Strike. I was writing for the Dutch branch of IGN, and I got a message from one of my colleagues that he said, hey, look at this Kickstarter, and it was a Kickstarter Battalion. And when I looked at the video, the promotion video, I quickly realized that the game that they were trying to make, that Bulkhead Interactive was trying to make, was very similar to the games that I was very, very fond of. Yeah, I figured this is gonna be my last chance. I was, I think I was like 24, 25 at that point in time. And I said to myself, you know what? I'm gonna give it one more chance, because this is going to be a game that's going to be very similar to games that I'm already good at. I'm gonna give it one more last chance, and then I'm going to see, where it takes me. And if it's somewhere great, then it's fantastic. And if it's going to turn out to be a massive flop, then you know what, I've had a good run, and I'm very content with where I've ended up. I realized I was going to be good pretty much from probably the moment the game was announced. The game obviously had a lot in common with Call of Duty 2 and 4. That was pretty much what the developer said that they were going to try and go for. So I kind of figured, this is going to be the game for me. I like the World War II setting, I like the weapons in the World War II, I think I am a very good player with rifle weapons. I think this is going to be a game that I can excel in. And given the current esports climate with high prize pools, high prize money, potential salaries, etc., if the game goes big, I thought, I'm gonna go for it. This is the last chance that I have. I'm 27 now. I'm almost 27 now, and you know what? I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna see where it ends up, and yeah, if it goes well, it goes well, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. It is what it is. In terms of family understanding, obviously my brother is very understanding of what I do. I don't know if he's ever harbored the same ambitions that I have, but he's definitely been around in terms of playing competitive video games. So he definitely understands my drive and where I'm coming from. In terms of my parents, that was a bit harder, especially when I was young and I played Call of Duty 4 professionally. There were a lot of questions in terms of how are your grades going to suffer, which admittedly they did. And I got into a lot of arguments with my parents about it. But now I think, especially now, I've got my business in order, I've got my real life in order, things are going pretty well, both in academics and in normal life. So my parents are fine with it. Battalion really is a new game. It's technically not even out yet. They're still in early access, which I think is a pretty good thing, because we're already seeing tournaments of, with a $50,000 prize pool, which is a very sizable chunk. Maybe not in the current, if you compare it to the very biggest of tournaments, like a Rainbow Six, like a Dota 2, like a League of Legends, you name it. But I think it's definitely it's carving out its own position in the esports landscape, and I think that's a very admirable thing to do. So I hope that the tournaments and the game itself grow up to be in a position where that's actually sustainable and that's a valid investment for organizations and for tournament organizers. We're going down to the Blitzkrieg Major in Alphen aan den Rijn in Netherlands. That is going to happen from the 26th of September until the 30th of September. And we are one of the 16 teams that managed to qualify for that tournament. In terms of predictions, based on our recent results, I think we have a very real chance of breaking into the top 3. There are some very, very talented teams. Obviously, it's the 16 best teams of the world. Everyone had to go through the same arduous qualifying process. So obviously the teams are all going to be very good. But I think based on our recent results and the quality of players that we have in our team, I don't see why we can't break the podium finish. Yeah.